Join me as I take on the challenge of conquering Europe one step at a time and see how far I can go. Empire building in Europe. It's a concept that's both fascinating and intimidating. From the Romans to the Ottomans, empires have risen and fallen, leaving behind a rich legacy that continues to shape our understanding of power, politics, and culture. But what does it take to build an empire that can dominate Europe, and what are the implications of such a feat? Building an empire in Europe is no easy task. Political fragmentation, cultural diversity, and military rivalries are just a few of the obstacles that stand in the way of would-be conquerors. Take the examples of Napoleon and Hitler, who both attempted to unite Europe under their rule, only to be defeated by the very same forces they sought to dominate. Then there are the logistical challenges. Supplies, communication, and maintaining order across vast distances are just a few of the hurdles that empires must overcome if they hope to succeed. Add to this the problem of cultural and linguistic diversity, and it's clear that building an empire in Europe is a daunting task. How do you maintain control over territories that speak different languages, have different customs, and are often fiercely proud of their independence? It's a puzzle that has confounded empires for centuries, and one that requires a deep understanding of the complexities of European history and culture. And yet, despite these challenges, empires have continued to rise and fall throughout European history. The Habsburgs, the Romans, and the Ottomans all managed to build vast empires that spanned the continent, often through a combination of military might, strategic alliances, and cultural assimilation. So what's the secret to their success? One strategy that many empires have employed is the use of military might to intimidate and coerce their opponents. The Romans, for example, were masters of military engineering, using their advanced technologies to build roads, bridges, and fortifications that allowed them to project their power across vast distances. Similarly, the Ottomans used their elite corps of janissaries to intimidate their enemies and maintain control over their territories. Another strategy is the use of diplomacy and strategic alliances to build a network of loyal vassals and allies. The Habsburgs, for example, were masters of dynastic politics, using marriage and alliances to build a vast network of relationships that spanned the continent. And then there are the cultural and economic ties that bind, as empires use trade, art, and architecture to spread their influence and build a sense of shared identity. But perhaps the most important strategy of all is the ability to adapt and evolve in response to changing circumstances. The Mongols, for example, were able to conquer vast swaths of Europe by adopting the tactics and technologies of their enemies, using their speed and mobility to outmaneuver and outflank their opponents. One pivotal moment that stands out in the history of empire building in Europe is the Battle of Vienna in 1683, when a coalition of European forces led by the Habsburgs defeated the Ottoman Empire, halting their advance into Central Europe. This battle marked a turning point in the history of European power, as the Habsburgs began to consolidate their dominance over the continent. Another pivotal moment is the French Revolution, which marked the beginning of the end of monarchical power in Europe and the rise of modern nation-states. This revolution had far-reaching implications for empire building, as it created a new model of governance that was more democratic, more accountable, and more inclusive. As we reflect on the history of empire building in Europe, it's clear that there are many lessons to be learned. From the importance of adaptability and strategic thinking to the dangers of hubris and overreach, the rise and fall of empires serves as a cautionary tale for would-be conquerors. In conclusion, building an empire in Europe is a complex and multifaceted challenge that requires a deep understanding of history, politics, and culture. As we look to the future, it's clear that the lessons of the past will continue to shape our understanding of power, politics, and governance. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the world of empire building in Europe. If you've got thoughts on this topic, be sure to share them in the comments below. And if you're looking for more content on this topic, be sure to check out my other videos on related subjects. Thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next video.